Today I'm going to talk to you about what is a licensed professional clinical counselor, or LPCC, and how does it compare to other mental health licenses in California. Hi, my name is Corinne Eisenhart. I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor in California and a licensed professional counselor in Colorado and Michigan. And today I'm partnering with the California Association for Licensed Professional Clinical Counselors, or CALPEC, to talk to you about all things LPCC. I also created an informational PowerPoint to go along with this video. It goes into more detail and is available for download for you to educate yourself and others about the LPCC license. To find the PowerPoint, see the links below. So let's get into it. I'm going to start by talking about some numbers. Now, in the United States, there are over 160,000 licensed counselors. And let's compare that to the Marriage and Family Therapist License, or LMFT. LMFTs have just over 69,000 in the nation. So counselors have more than twice the number of LMFTs in the United States. But when we look at the numbers in California, there are 45,000 LMFTs and just over 3,000 LPCCs. So again, the counselors have more than double the LMFTs in the nation, but in California, LMFTs have more than 14 times the number of LPCCs. These numbers also show that the LMFT license really dominates in California, with making up more than half the amount in the United States. Now let's talk about why there are fewer counselors in California. And I'm going to start by talking about a timeline. The first state to license LMFTs was California in 1963, whereas California was last to adopt the LPCC license in 2009. That was 46 years after the LMFTs, which means they had a lot more time to establish themselves in California. But both the LPCC and the LMFT won licensure in all 50 states at the same time. Another potential reason that counselors have fewer numbers in this state is that it took compromise to win the license. This included requiring extra supervision hours in specific settings to get the license, and extra classes and hours to work with couples and families. Now, these extra requirements were not required in any other state to obtain the license. And as of January 2022, these additional requirements were eliminated with the passing of Law AB 462, thanks to the advocacy efforts of CALPEC. So now the counseling license is on par with other states and other master's level licenses in California. But I can imagine in the past, this made it a lot less desirable for students when they were choosing a master's level program here in California, when they knew they had a lot of extra steps to get the license. Now recently, we've had significant growth in numbers, and currently we have more associate counselors in training than fully licensed in California. I think the growth will only be more significant in years to come, especially with the portability of the license, which I'll talk about later. So now that you understand why there are fewer counselors in California and why they are lesser known, let's talk about what is an LPCC license. I'm going to start by talking about the scope of practice, which is going to sound very familiar to the LMFT scope of practice, because we generally do the same things here in California. So LPCCs can provide psychotherapy, psychoeducation, career counseling, and clinical case management. They can meet with individuals, couples, families, and groups for therapeutic interventions. They can provide assessments, diagnosis, evaluation, and prognosis. And they can complete treatment plans and treatment evaluations. And they can also supervise AMFTs, APCCs, and ASWs. But currently, LPCCs do have some limitations on assessments that involve neuropsychological, personality, cognitive impairment, and IQ. Next, let's talk about the counseling education and training. This is also very similar to the LMFTs. Both degrees are fully clinical degrees, preparing individuals for clinical practice. And both require 60 semester units of education. Now I'm going to put a list of classes up on the screen so that you can see how clinically based the counseling classes are and what it encompasses. You can see in the 13 core content areas that it gives a full clinical foundation, plus advanced studies in counseling and psychotherapy techniques. Then it has 15 semester units of advanced coursework to help counselors develop knowledge of specific treatment issues and how to work with specific populations. Then, to obtain the full license, both require 3,000 hours of supervised professional experience. But what differs from the MFTs is that they can count 1,300 hours prior to graduating with their degree, while the LPCCs must complete 3,000 hours post-degree, which is similar to other states. Next, let's look at the general counseling approach. And I can make a full video about this alone, but generally the counseling education and training help LPCCs to become generalists in the mental health field. With counselors' broad understanding of mental health issues and how to treat them, counselors can provide a wide range of services to help clients with a variety of mental health issues. They then can obtain more advanced training to specialize in different techniques, theories, and specific client issues. Counselors are trained to treat the client following a holistic approach with a focus on developmental, prevention, and a wellness orientation. Counselors are trained in many theories, but a significant focus is on the client-centered and humanistic approach. And the counselor's education includes career counseling, which differs from other licenses. Now, some last things to note about the counseling license. LPCCs are reimbursed by most managed care organizations and health plans. And starting in 2024, they'll be able to be Medicare providers. And lastly, the license is very portable because it's well known and established throughout the United States. When I recently got licensed in Colorado, it took 2.5 weeks. And portability will only drastically improve with the Counseling Compact, which you can learn more about on the American Counseling Association website. Now that's all I'm going to cover today. But if you want to learn more, please look for the link below to that PowerPoint presentation I referenced earlier in the video. That's going to go into more detail about the profession. You can also learn more about the license on the CalPIC website, the American Counseling Association website, or by checking out the links below. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the LPCC license.